Feeling those slowed down, relaxed summertime vibes rolling in. Please rise, embody your spirit, and join me in our opening hymn. It's number 155 in the gray hymnal. It will also be right there on our screen. Circle round for freedom.
Okay, sure.
Our musicians will lead us.
Good morning and welcome, everyone. My name is Ken Wechter. My pronouns are he, him. Today, I'm serving the congregation as worship associate and happens to be my second to last day as your board chair. In this sanctuary, this sacred space, no matter what our spiritual beliefs may be, we center ourselves in love and embrace the 6 shared values of Unitarian Universalism: justice, equity, transformation, pluralism, interdependence, and generosity. At its roots, the word religion means to bind together, and we are bound together by our values and the covenants we make about how to live those values. Living into our covenants is what makes us faithful UUs. Today, as we continue down our path of living love through the practice of freedom, we will explore the importance of our shared UU value of pluralism, which calls us to celebrate that we are all sacred beings, diverse in culture, experience, and theology. In order to live our value of pluralism, we covenant to learn from one another in our free and responsible search for truth and meaning, embracing our differences and commonalities with love, curiosity, and respect. Thank you for joining us today. Heather will now make some announcements about what will be going on around here real soon so that you can find ways that you want to live your UU values.
Thank you, Ken. Good morning. My name is Heather Norby. I am the spiritual life director for this fantastic congregation, and I use the pronouns she and her. One way to generously offer your time and talents to this congregation and this UU faith is to come to the worship committee meeting at 5 p.m. on Wednesday, this Wednesday, here in the sanctuary. Petra is our worship committee chair, and she will be here on Wednesday looking for you all to help support her while I am on vacation for an entire month. So please come on out and help Petra develop some services and find ways to support one another and to make worship a great place or a great time for us to be together. That being said, next Sunday will be a lay-led worship service with Ben Basili and Tom Mead. So come out and support them, bring your curiosity, hear what they have to say, and build community together. July 19th, Amber had been planning this book exchange called, I'm not going to try to pronounce it. Thank you. Yola Voklaflad. Okay, inspired by an Icelandic Christmas tradition, but it's kind of like having Christmas in July because we need that here in Florida. So it was been in the newsletter, and these sheets are around, and they are the way to sign up and to get information about it. However, Amber hasn't had a lot of people sign up, so if a lot of people don't sign up in the next couple days, then she'll reschedule it for when more people are in town. I know July is a popular time to travel and not be around. So keep an eye out. If you're interested in that, let Amber know, and keep an eye out for more information about that. Thank you, Amber. Also happening in July while I'm away is the Interfaith Coalition of Polk County's first Friends of Faith gathering. It will be July 23rd at 6:30 p.m., so mark your calendars. I'll put it in the newsletter as well. And it will be at the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints down on 5850 Lakeland Highlands Road. That's by George Jenkins High School. It's a potluck, and it is a way for us to get to know the other congregations that are involved in the Interfaith Coalition, right? And so everyone's going to come, bring food. You will not sit with other UUs, of course. You will sit with the folks from Temple Emmanuel or Beacon Hill Fellowship or Church of the Latter-day Saints or the Methodists or the Lutherans or the Episcopalians and get to know each other. All right? So I hope that you all show up and have a great time doing that. I'm sorry to miss it, but I will be flying out of state. All right, well, and speaking of flying out of state, I just got back with Helen and Crystal. We went to Baltimore to the UUA's General Assembly. We had a fantastic time. We gathered lots of information and inspiration, and when I come back in August or September, we'll be doing a couple worship services to share that information with all of you and to inspire you as well. Lots of new wonderful things going on. There's a virtual hymnal, which I know Isaiah is super excited about, and so that will sort of change the way we're able to get our music coordinated. The hype is real. He's all over it. Okay, on a less joyful note, perhaps you've heard of this alligator Alcatraz Everglades prison facility. I know there was a protest yesterday down in that area to protest the building of a detention camp, a prison facility, place to just put people in a not very nice way. And also, they're building it like in the Everglades, like in the Big Cypress Swamp, which will damage our very valuable resources here, and the river of grass, right, is essential to our environment and to the way that Florida works, and they're looking to destroy it, and yeah, so please pay attention to it. Look it up. Go get some information about it. Make a phone call. Write a letter. Go to a protest, please. Thank you. And of course, as always, please check the back of your order of service and our e-newsletter, which is published on Mondays, for more information on other events. Thank you. Let us create our sacred space by lighting our chalice.
Today's words for chalice lighting are "Let Us Remember" by Reverend J. Wolin. As we come together, let us remember those who have come before us, both known and unknown, and sacrificed so we could have the opportunities we have. Let us think about those yet to come, both known and unknown, and the world we will leave them. Let us act with our values, the impact of which is both known and unknown. Let us move forward with hope for a world we can imagine and one we cannot fathom. As we light this chalice, let it light the path as we move forward in worship together in freedom. Dakota, would you please do us the honor of lighting our chalice? Nothing wants to light today.
We must persevere.
There's a regular light.
It's just a lesson in being persistent. Spirituality of imperfection.
I lit it for the first time the other week, right?
Yay! It's better when we have to work for it.
Next, let us rise in body or spirit to sing in English and Spanish hymn number 123, Spirit of Life.
I would like to invite our children and our young at heart. Come on up, and we're gonna chat a little bit, and then I'm gonna need your help with things. Okay. Well, we're going to take some time together today to talk about gratitude. Do you know what gratitude is? Do you ever say thank you to anybody? Yeah. When you say thank you, you're showing gratitude. And what are the things that you say thank you about? Or who do you say thank you to? And what are you showing gratitude for? You think of times when you say thank you? Someone gets you a drink. That was very nice of them. Yes. Someone gives you a present. That's a good one. That's a good one. That's a great time to say thank you. Yeah. Anything else? And for food, definitely. Yeah. So you say thank you to your mom and dad? Yeah. What about your older brother and sister? Sister might disagree. Maybe she needs to hear thank you more. What do you say? Yeah? Yeah. I bet. Yeah. Well, I want to say thank you today. I want to say thank you to just a few of the people, because believe me, there's a lot of people that make this church work, right? And it's really important that we say thank you to all of them, but today to some of them, right? Because would we have a church without people? No, and a lot of people dedicate a lot of their time, right, and their talents, and they reconnect the church. That's right. Yeah, we're all about connection around here, aren't we? Yeah, so I think we should say thank you, because it's love and connection equals transformation. All right, awesome job. Okay, so today I'm going to say thank you to our board members, because tomorrow is the last day of June, which means that some of our board members are ending their time of serving the board in the church, and some people are coming on to the board, and some people are staying for another year or two, or maybe longer. We'll see how it goes. And there's a few people here. Let me start with, well, first of all, I'll say that Mary St. Denis is ending her term as a board member. However, she is in Wisconsin on a boat, so she's not here for us to thank. We should definitely thank her when she gets back. Also leaving the board is Ken Wechter. So, I have something for our friend Ken, who has been our board chair for what, 2 years? Three or more years. Wow. And he's still here and he's still smiling. Yes. So, Presley, could you please give that to Ken? I went to GA and I saw some stuff and I thought of people, and that was one of the things. So that is called, what is it? Leaning towards light, homes for gardens, and the hands that tend them. Ken certainly tends his garden and shares his harvest with us. Thank you, Ken. All right. So staying on the board, I have these little things here. These are like little coasters that have our values on them. And also when you're done with it, they have wildflower seeds. So staying on our board, and I think the next board chair, we don't know yet. Oh, it has to be voted on in the next meeting. Okay. Sorry to jump that way. Is Jen Dean. Woo! Come on up, Jen. Who wants to give this to Jen? Who's ready? Kelly's eating, so. Here, Bella. Oh. You can do it together. Thank you, Jen, for continuing your time on the board. All right, girls. I know you want to do the other mom. Staying on the board is also Catherine Steele. Thank you. Woohoo! All right, now, let's see. I only see one. Oh, no, there you are. We call them the two Toms. The two Toms are coming on the board, Tom Bergen and Tom Mead. Now, Tom Bergen and Tom Mead have been around this place for a very long time. So, this is what I did. While you will also receive a wildflower coaster, there's another person staying on the board, but I don't even see him today, so I'll show you what I got. So, since you all have been here for a really long time, I thought you could use this new book about Unitarian Universalism. It's the one we give our new members. But after you've been around for a while, you could probably use some new language, some new ideas about our faith. So for Tom and Tom who are coming onto the board, there we go. Tom Bergen for the second time. Have you served on our board before? No, Tom Mead for the first time. There you are. Thank you, thank you. Yes, yes. Okay, now Baisal Dokur is also staying on the board, but he's not here, is he? No? I haven't seen him. Okay, I saw this shirt, and I had to get it for him. I want to open it because, here, will you open that for me? I want to open it and show you not just the front of it, but also the back of it, because I saw it and I went, oh my gosh, Baisal needs that shirt. So when he comes back, somebody please give it to him. So you the vote, and on the back it says what? May the promise of I don't know. It just spoke Baisal to me. So, yeah. So, please give that to Baisal when you see him next. Thank you. All right. I have one more thing. Our office administrator, who has been in this position for 3.5 years, is also coming to the end of her employment with us. And so I want to make sure that we honor Helen and give her a great big thank you for serving us. And would you please go give that to Helen? Thank you, Helen. She's moving on, but she's still a member of our congregation, so don't worry. Don't worry, she's not going anywhere, really. It's different, yeah. All right, and I think that's all I've got. So let's sing, and y'all can go play and learn, and you can do your stones and, do your thing. These hands will do the work. These feet will carry me.
These arms will be welcoming to what these eyes can see. This mind will stay open to the possibility, and the love in this heart will set me free.
Here we gather, tucked back in this friendly neighborhood between the beautiful tall pines. We are a community of people who have arrived from many different paths, yet we seek a common goal: to bring more love to a hurting but beautiful world. We do this by building our UUCL community with our time, talents, and treasures. Our shared UU value of generosity calls us to covenant with one another that we freely and compassionately share our faith, presence, and resources so that the dream of beloved community becomes a reality. Please help us to grow into our dreams as our ushers pass the plate for our collection.
As Ken lights our healing candle today, I offer you this prayer. Spirit of life and love, we call on you again to show us the ways in which we can heal. Too many in positions of power and in the name of control, greed, and empire are seeking to destroy our valuable resources and simultaneously human lives. Desacralizing our Mother Earth as if we own her, and dehumanizing other people as if they are not worthy, are ideas and actions which directly counter our UU values. Spirit of life and love, show us the ways to center ourselves in love and live out our values loudly, for there are so many that need us to speak up and act out in resistance to the great damage that is being done. Our Florida Everglades are sacred grounds, and they are no place to build a prison of dehumanization and torture. Guide us swiftly and safely down the path to healing the wounds that cause people to take such destructive actions. Amen, and blessed be. Our ritual of the sharing of joys, concerns, and sorrows embodies the belief that through connecting our lives, our freedoms expand. This is because the act of gathering, of sharing, of deeply connecting gives us courage. And in this world in which we must navigate many joys and sorrows, it is the courage we give one another that sets us free from the weight of being lost and alone. In our Joys and Sorrows book, you are able to write any significant joy or sorrow occurring in your life that you would like for the congregation to know. Today, Sherry has shared something with us. She writes, exactly 1 year ago tomorrow, I came to UUCL with my mom for the first time. It seems like longer sometimes, but I am extremely grateful to have found my, quote, tribe and UUCL family and community. I have found a lot of joy getting to know everyone and spending time with you and learning and growing on our spiritual journeys together and standing up together and living our values together in this hurting but beautiful world. I love you all. Sherry. Wow. Sherry, we love you too, and it certainly has been a blessing to have you and your mom here for the last year. Thank you. So I invite all of you now to come forward for our ritual of joys and sorrows. You may take whichever stone or stones feels right to you and drop it in the bowl, connecting to others and feeling the power of being together in this community. Please rise in body or spirit now and join me in our hymn number 318, We Would Be One. Two weeks ago, I began what has become a multi-part sermon on the brief history of atheism, as Tom Bergen requested for his sermon topic of choice that he bought at our annual service auction. But brief, aside from being a skill I don't have, is also difficult because of the interdependent and pluralistic reality that we live in. Atheism, the lack of belief in God, doesn't exist as a thought or a philosophy in a silo. This lack of belief, this idea of atheism, has been influenced by the work, the questions, the discoveries, and the actions of others in different places and cultures throughout human history. In other words, we didn't begin with atheism as the default. We began with some sort of belief system. In our case, for this sermon series, it was polytheism. Because as far back as we can tell, humans have believed in something in order to explain this something, this reality that is our existence. In our world today, to declare the existence of a god, gods, goddesses, or not, is, or at least should be, a serious and deeply spiritual human endeavor. To develop good theology requires careful thought, reflection, analysis, and what we believe about a God or not has direct impact on how we behave, build community, design ritual, create culture, and treat others. It is our theology, our worldview, or as the Germans say, Weltanschauung. That's one of my favorite words. Say it with me, you'll like it too. Weltanschauung, which means it's a little bit bigger than worldview. It's our fundamental cognitive orientation. And that ultimately determines a large part of what this world is like for us to live in. And so it matters what we believe and what we don't, and how we orient ourselves to the world around us. As a reminder, according to the website of the American Atheists, atheism is one thing: a lack of belief in gods. Atheism is not an affirmative belief that there is no God, nor does it answer any other question about what a person believes. It is simply a rejection of the assertion that there are gods. But An atheistic worldview still has implications and impact in the real world because simply questioning the existence of God, the nature of humanity, and the origins of our planet in this vast universe propels people into exploration and discovery. At least it has propelled enough people into extensive study and examination that they have changed and molded the course of human history. Where did we come from? What are we? Where are we going? These are the big questions that our evolved brains allow us to ask. Ultimately, our theological imaginations are rooted in a wondering and a deep spiritual yearning to know about our own existence and this planet that we live on. When power and control enter the picture, theology is used to support the hierarchy that allows for dominance, and we lose sight of what it means to be human. As a free faith, though, that models the way we want the world to be, Unitarian Universalists allow for these questions to come up, and we allow for them to be answered in different but reasoned ways. We practice freedom together when we do not threaten and chastise one another for believing something different, but rather when we generously grant each one of us the chance to explore. So we will experience this freedom together as we sing that hymn, number 1003, Where Do We Come From? It's in our teal hymnal. There are 4 parts. Pick a part, sing along. Regrettably, I left you in the dark ages when I wrapped up the service 2 weeks ago. And although in the Middle Ages there would have been a very limited number of answers one might have given to those questions we just sang, people were still asking them. They were still questioning, exploring, and gathering during those 1,000 years from the fall of the Western Roman Empire in 476 CE to the beginning of the Renaissance and on. During those 1,000 years, classical knowledge was being gathered and preserved by monasteries in Western Europe, by Byzantine scholars in the Eastern Roman Empire, and by Islamic scholars in the Middle East, North Africa, and Spain. This classical knowledge from Europe and the Middle East played a crucial role in sparking and shaping the Renaissance, a period of renewed interest in art, science, philosophy, and humanism that began in 14th century Italy and spread across Europe. The preservation of Greek and Roman texts that were lost or neglected during the early Middle Ages in Western Europe were preserved, translated, and expanded upon by scholars in the Islamic world. Texts by Aristotle, Plato, Ptolemy, Euclid, and others were translated into Arabic and later into Latin, making them accessible to European scholars, helping to reintroduce Aristotle, Homer, Socrates, as we talked about last time, and others to Western European thinkers. Muslim scholars built upon classical ideas in philosophy and science, introducing methods that influenced European thinkers, stimulating new ideas. Sounds like pluralism. When European scholars were able to rediscover the classical Greek and Islamic texts, they adjusted their focus away from a powerful and omniscient almighty God up above toward emphasizing human potential, reason, and the value of individual experience. Thinkers like Thomas Aquinas began to reconcile faith with reason using Aristotle's logic. Through the blending of Greek philosophy and Christian doctrine, Thomas suggested that rational thinking and the study of nature were valid ways to understand truths pertaining to God. He believed that God reveals himself through nature, so to study nature is to study God. Thomas Aquinas emphasized the use of reason as one of the goals of theology, and while definitely not an atheist, the use of reason to explain existence is essential to an atheistic stance. And so Thomas helped to shape an intellectual foundation for atheism. Greek and Islamic texts that laid the groundwork for systematic questioning of nature eventually also influenced figures like Copernicus, Galileo, Sir Isaac Newton, and Leonardo da Vinci, who challenged medieval views of the cosmos and the human body, and helped to launch the scientific revolution. The scientific revolution began to challenge biblical cosmology, promoting a mechanistic universe governed by natural laws. But this was still a risky venture if one was adamant about their beliefs, and famously, Galileo spent the last 10 years of his life under house arrest for supporting Copernicus's theory that we live in a heliocentric solar system. The truth was so radical, it shook up the church's Weltanschauung to such an extent that they could not pivot into a new lived reality. And so the Renaissance was not a sudden awakening, but the result of centuries of preservation, adaptation, and intellectual exchange between Europe and the Islamic world. The fusion of ancient knowledge with new insights created a powerful foundation for the cultural, artistic, and scientific developments that defined the Renaissance. And with the invention of the printing press, new ideas, new theological and humanistic ideas were spread through books. Towards the end of those medieval times, universities emerged, like in Paris and Oxford, providing a safer intellectual context for secular inquiry. Renaissance humanist thought, even by those that still believed in a God, spread through books and became popular in the universities and began to encourage people to read the Bible for themselves and to question church authority. This set the stage for Martin Luther and the Protestant Reformation, further breaking the church's monopoly on knowledge and power and opening the door to an even wider scrutiny of religious truth claims. These developments created an intellectual rebirth that reshaped Europe and laid the groundwork for the modern world. In many ways, this reshaping had dire consequences for people who were not Western European elites, who were still using religion to justify their dominance, and they were stealing land and enslaving people. But if there's any sort of positive side to what came out of the Renaissance, it is that extensive investigations into the natural laws of the universe supported the rise of secular reason and ushered in what we call the Enlightenment in the 17th and 18th centuries. And finally, the atheists, the true atheists that did indeed lack a belief in God, began to emerge on the public scene. It was the combination of philosophical reasoning, scientific developments, and opposition to religious authority of the previous ages that lured them in that direction. But how safe was it to declare oneself an atheist during the Enlightenment? Let us consider the life of Baron d'Holbach, a radical French thinker who became one of the first prominent figures in Europe to openly and systematically declare atheism. D'Holbach was deeply influenced by the Enlightenment's emphasis on reason, logic, and empirical evidence. He was a French aristocrat who used his home to host the Paris Salon, where thinkers like Diderot, Rousseau, and Hume could gather and share enlightened ideas. D'Holbach believed that religion was irrational and that explanations about the world should be based on natural laws, not supernatural beliefs. Inspired by thinkers like Spinoza and Lucretius, he argued that the universe is a material system governed by cause and effect, not divine will. Advances in physics, astronomy, and biology convinced D'Holbach that natural phenomena could be explained without invoking a god. He viewed the universe as a deterministic machine where everything operates according to physical laws, leaving no room for divine intervention or a creator. D'Holbach saw religion, especially organized Christianity, as a source of ignorance, fear, and political oppression. He wrote that religion was invented by priests and rulers to control people, not to explain truth. His most famous book, The System of Nature, was written in 1770, and it was a bold manifesto of atheism, materialism, and determinism, arguing that gods are human inventions born of fear and ignorance. Remember our friend Xenophanes in ancient Greece who said, if cattle and horses and lions had hands, horses would draw the gods like horses and cattle like cattle? We talked about him a couple weeks ago. Well, over 1,000 years later, inspired by this classical knowledge and questioning and scientific advances, D'Holbach draws much the same conclusion. But was it safe? Safer than in medieval times, yes. But Baron d'Holbach operated carefully, and this bold atheist manifesto entitled The System of Nature was published under the pseudonym Jean-Baptiste Mirabaud to avoid persecution. The book was immediately condemned by the Catholic Church and the French Parliament. It was publicly burned because, yes, atheism was still shocking. We shouldn't be surprised, however. Here we are some 300 years later, and if we were to come out as an atheist to family and friends, well, that might still be shocking. Books are still being banned, and Christian nationalism is on the rise. My dear Unitarian Universalists, whether you are an atheist or not, there are many lessons that we can take from the history of atheism, which, by the way, I haven't even come close to concluding, but you'll have to wait until August or September when I come back. Tom's really getting his money worth. A broad sweep of the history of atheism brings to light a deep spiritual human yearning to question, to hypothesize, to explore, and to examine our existence so that we may land upon a truth that liberates us from the shackles of dogma and releases us into the knowing that we are the ones that can transform this world. Centering our value of pluralism, we do this together. Examining a history of atheism reveals human nature and leads to the conclusion that it should not be dogma and creeds, hierarchy and control that form a religious body, for obviously that goes against our very nature. Our brains evolved so that we could think about ourselves and our origins and the possibilities of our future. This is why I am so grateful for Unitarian Universalism. It is a religion for the questioners, the heretics, the explorers, the scientists, and the atheists, and the deists and the theists, and you know the thing. Our religious values counter racism, xenophobia, anti-Semitism, and Islamophobia. Unitarian Universalism honors our deep human yearning to never stop asking, where do we come from? What are we? Where are we going? May we continue to practice freedom together in this community by never settling into theological certainty. As our anchor quote for the month has reminded us, loosening our grip on what we think we know will be exactly what saves us. The freer we become inside ourselves, the freer our world will be. May curiosity unshackle us, and may it be so because we make it so. Thank you.
Our closing words today are from theoretical physicist and cosmologist Stephen Hawking. As we travel back in time towards the moment of the Big Bang, the universe gets smaller and smaller and smaller until it finally comes to a point where the whole universe is a space so small that it is in effect a single infinitesimally small, infinitesimally dense black hole. And just as with modern-day black holes floating around in space, the laws of nature dictate something quite extraordinary. They tell us that here too, time itself must come to a stop. You can't get to a time before the Big Bang because there was no time before the Big Bang. We have finally found something that doesn't have a cause because there was no time for a cause to exist in. For me, this means that there is no possibility of a creator because there's no time for a creator to have existed in. It's my view that the simplest explanation is that there is no God. No one created the universe and no one directs our fate. I think that when we die, we return to dust. But there's a sense in which we live on in our influence and in our genes that we pass on to our children. We have this one life to appreciate the grand design of the universe, and for that, I am extremely grateful. One day, I hope we will know the answers to all these questions. But there are other challenges, other big questions on the planet which must be answered. And these will also need a new generation who are interested and engaged and have an understanding of science. How will we feed an ever-growing population, provide clean water, generate renewable energy, prevent and cure disease, and slow down global climate change? I hope that science and technology will provide the answers to these questions, but it will take people, human beings with knowledge and understanding, to implement these solutions. Let us fight for every person to have the opportunity to live healthy, secure lives, full of opportunity and love. We are all time travelers, journeying together into the future, but let us work together to make that future a place we want to visit. Be brave, be curious, be determined, overcome the odds. It can be done.
Please join me in singing our closing hymn, number 1064, Blue Boat Home. Go ahead and rise and body your spirit.
Please join me as we extinguish our chalice. I need somebody to extinguish the chalice. We extinguish this chalice, but not the light of truth, the warmth of love, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts and out into the world.
With your whole selves, find the truth, tell the truth, be brave, be curious, and remember that you are loved, you are worthy, and you are a blessing. Thank you, and please join us in the social hall for snacks and fellowship.